one of the things that I've seen, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is essentially, events were what they were in 19, then you had 20, right? Started coming out at the end of 21. It got this like huge reset. And then it was
Yeah.
just like off to the races, right? And now we've gotten to here where it's pretty stable. It's good. It's back. I've heard all those things. It is
Yeah.
100% undeniable. You just look at everybody's books and what's happening in the numbers. Yeah, I've seen things about the growth rate over the next 8 years looks really, really good. All things are good. My question to you is, and it's really, I guess, more just like my thoughts and asking what you think, but is I just think events in general, the whole industry has to get smarter and better. Like the industry has to get better, right? It's
Yeah.
like I feel like before so much shit was just done because it's always been done. And it was like it was just okay. It was like, oh, people go, they show up, but under the breath, people are like, this sucks. God, why am I here again? But now you're getting people starting to challenge these things and be like, this event's not any good. This should, and all the tech, all the concepts of trying to create ROI, all these ideas of giving these exhibitors, these attendees, these organizers, people more resource, more tool to actually create output for better events. That is a trend, like a major trend that I am seeing is a push by a lot of areas to say, we got kicked in the face. Now we're back. And people are like, this stuff has to get better, like in so many
Yeah.
different areas, better, smarter, more business savvy. Am I wrong there? What are your
No,
thoughts?
I definitely agree with you. Like, so this is why it's so important that we have to get better in a very short period of time. Is that with the decline of content marketing, with it becoming harder and harder to compete for attention online and things like that, marketers are looking for, how do I actually influence behavior? How do I actually get a captive audience for my products and services and my brand? And what they realize is events are freaking working. They're like the best.
Yeah.
Like people literally
Yeah.
sometimes leave events and sign massive contracts with software companies
Yeah.
just because they had a great time at the event, whatever it may have been that did it. And so what I think is happening is that events are no longer just the, hey, we know it's good, it naturally creates connections, it brings brand awareness. Now we have tools for marketers to actually create successful events, to track the data and
Mm-hmm.
do all the things that we used to do, like with content marketing and social media and things like that. And now we're dumping money into events from a marketing activity. And really, I think what's going to happen is that in the next 3 or 4 years, everyone's going to look at events as being like, this is my stable core for my marketing strategy. So where I feel like what you said about the idea that like we have to do better is like, we also have to throw out these playbooks we've had from 2019 and beyond and
Yeah.
earlier. Everybody who's doing things the same way is seeing a slow decline, and those who are willing to reinvent themselves and dare to do more are going to see great results from it and are not going to get blown away from the competition.
Yeah. It feels like a little bit of like a bell curve, right? It feels like, events were thriving. And then I write about this all the time. I say that the maturity of the internet, people just didn't realize it, but the maturity of the internet just kicked events in the ass. It just
Yeah.
did. It was
Yeah.
easier to get to your customer, easier to find them, easier to prospect, easier to target, easier to do so many things. And people are like, why do I need to go to this event? Like I can target that person with
On
Zoom info
LinkedIn.
and LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the bell curve's coming back where like all good things like the internet and the maturity of it, people have just saturated the shit out of it. And it's
Yeah. Yeah.
almost hard to saturate events. It's
Yeah.
almost hard because it's this interpersonal, one-on-one, face-to-face. You know what you're getting. There's no tricks, which
Yeah.
I find interesting. And I think now the opportunity is really to get smarter, get better, do things in a more, I don't want to say professional, but like systemized, like meaningful
Yeah.
way, maybe, I
More
guess.
like
I don't know.
ROI driven way, I think.
Yeah, like why does this make sense? Like I did a panel show recently, with Tavar James, John Wolf, and Nancy Toohill, and like a lot of the conversations, John Wolf was talking. He's like, we're not making emotional decisions on a trade show or an event. We're not, just so the organizers and associations know. He's like, we're not looking at it like, oh, we always go. We're going to be there, sure thing. Like, he's not doing that. He's
No.
thinking like, was this good? Was it a good use of our resource? Good use of our time? Did we get a return? Or not even just return, because that gets overused. Those are the things I think would just like people are getting smarter, and events need to jump and evolve to that, where, you know, they're getting the support, offering services and everything that you need. And I'm seeing a lot of good things.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that. Like we have, like I've always said that, you know, one of the biggest challenges within the events industry is that the event professional wants to get closer and closer to that C-suite level. The challenge has been that the event organizer needs to start thinking like a C-suite person does, which is based on like, what is my objectives for the year and how does this help accomplish them? And how do I actually measure it with data? If you can do that, you're going to start getting a seat at the table
Yeah.
that everybody wants to have. And, you know, it's possible now, but the problem is you can't stay stuck in design land and you know, the things that get us in the events industry about creating amazing experiences are
Yep.
also sometimes the things that like drive us away from these, you know, more business like decisions.